That's fucked. Holy shit.
Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh, there it is! Fuck!
Good morning, my beauties and bees. Hello, everybody out there in the hive. Good to see you. Why is this got me way down? Why am I way down there? Goodness gracious. Oh, because you can see my medications back there. I was like, oh, yeah, those are my pills that I take. I take medications. I take them out of this. I fill this thing up. So if you take medications, you can join me in having a daily routine where I get up every morning and I take my meds as I sit here at my desk. So there's nothing not normal about that. I don't know why I'm so weird about my meds being on the screen. You can't see what they are or anything. And even if they were, who cares? I'm like an in the stigma kind of bitch. So there I am. I'm definitely not monetizing this stream. Bitch in the first 2 minutes. Well, hello. We are live from the Hive, and it is Saturday morning. Greetings to all my friends and fam out there in the live chat. Let's see. I know we had Ryan and Jason and Sandy, John and Tsunami. Yeah, I have these too that I take. These are just the hair and nails thing. I have really crappy nails and really thinning hair. So whatever I can do to slow that process, right? I mean, surely everybody can relate to that on some level or another. There's something about yourself that you want to maintain or feel like you're going to start to lose, and you want to help care for yourself a little better so you can maintain it. Yes. I'm loving the idea of being on the big screen there for the Johnster monster. Hi. Am I like huge? I'm like life size probably on your screen. I don't know. Need some meds, send them my way. Well, I have these kind of meds too. You know, I just depends on what I'm doing. So let's, there's just going to be some real quick housekeeping stuff here. So it's not even going to be a thing, which is good because Bugbot was giving me a fit this morning, kept insisting that I needed to register a gaming channel to continue. And I don't have a gaming channel. If I did have a gaming channel, I don't know if anybody would watch it. I suck at games. I like retro games, like anything that would have been on like an arcade console. In the 90s. That's like my genre of games. I don't dislike modern games. I Ian has the PlayStation in there, and I actually did buy a game of that. I actually bought Red Dead Redemption, and I haven't even played it yet. I bought it like at Christmas time when it was on sale, and I haven't even played it yet because I just don't game that much. If I do, it's like once in a blue moon. The last game that I took seriously and really gamed hard on it was Breath of the Wild when that came out, because I am a bit of a Nintendo nerd just because of nostalgia. But yeah, I don't dislike modern games. I just don't appeal to me as much as the nostalgic ones, and I'm kind of boomer about learning new controls. I can usually catch on. I like Breath of the Wild has the standard modern controls for video games, and I didn't do too bad at that. Anyway, what else is going on before we get into it? So, if you hadn't noticed, if you're not on Twitter, I spent a couple of days arguing with Steve McRae and his folks that he tagged into, including that Emma, the turf from the UK, like a professional turf. She runs like a turf foundation. Tagged her in on it, so I got to argue with her too. It was fun stuff. It was about sex, so we had Dr. Dan Cardinale from Creationist. Yeah, I don't think I have a command for either of these guys either. I need to make a command for Creationists and for the other gentleman that was on this discussion, PZ Myers. So they were both explaining that sex is more complicated than what was generally shown as a binary system, and yeah, they were in vehement disagreement about this, and it was kind of a shitstorm. But then Steve was on my friend Wes's channel last night, and he engaged with James Apperson, and I don't know, James kept him on the ropes pretty good about it, but mostly every time I see Steve hitting my mic, I was adjusting my mic because I have this. So here's the thing, I work here too, and I have this headset. And it is all tangled up in my mic cord, so every time that I move in my chair, this swings and bumps into it. So I'm moving it now. It won't happen again. Good morning, Dr. Tapioca Weasel. Good to see you. Yeah, I have an addictive tendency too. That's why I ended up with all these bugs behind me. Actually, I don't have that many bugs right now. The hive is kind of in a dearth. It's the lowest point that it's been since I started to try to collect bugs. But it's because of all the moving and and financial pinches and stuff. So that being said, I am going to do a bug drive. Okay. It's going to be, because since it's starting to warm up and it's getting to a point where we can get this stuff shipped, I can't afford to buy all the bugs by myself. I can't. I have X amount of dollars in my Patreon that I'm going to transfer towards a bug fund as like a base. But what I'm going to do is I am going to do a bug drive where we raise funds to buy bugs for the hive. It will be, I plan on, if everything goes according to plan, it will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Okay. And I'm going to do it it's just going to be a fundraiser thing, but I just want to make sure that the channel can still honor what it was built on, and some of the things about the channel that made it that makes me want to keep doing it. And that's like the Mike Mantis and things. There's a culture I'm trying to create here, and a theme to the show. And I would like to get my Mike Mantises back. Now, praying mantises only live 12 to 18 months, so I have to order new babies or breed them. Right now, I definitely cannot do a breeding project in this apartment. I can't really not. I'm pushing the envelope by having my bugs. I told them, you know, I like to when they moved in as a no pets, I'm like, well, I like to collect bugs and stuff. Is that okay? And they're like, oh yeah, bugs are fine if you keep bugs in jars and stuff. We don't care. It's like sweet. So yeah, that's what I presented as this. Do you still hear it? Something bumping into the mic? Tap, tap. Yeah, I'm on the right mic. Let me see. Yeah, condenser mic. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'll try not to tap it anymore, though. Is it tapping this wire, maybe? Is that what you're hearing? Yeah, probably that. Let's move that back a little bit. It's kind of loosey-goosey in there because that was tangled in there and I pulled stuff loose. Some binding came loose that I hadn't placed down here. I'm a hot mess this morning, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay. Yeah, we are having a dearth of bugs. You already mailed your bugs, Ryan? So, yeah, I do. I am wanting to get bugs to eat, too. I mean, we can get bugs to eat for sure. Or we can do the mealworms and we can find mealworm recipes and I can harvest my own mealworms and do it that way. We do stuff like that. But what I plan on doing for the bug drive is I'm going to watch, do like a live commentary on Tony Reed's Bombardier Beetle series. I'm probably going to go ahead and do it like maybe a cryptic topic too. I haven't picked one yet, but yeah, something buggy, I'm sure. So if and when, yeah, definitely Florida has lots of cool bugs. Definitely, I can have you send those on up to me. That sounds like an awesome plan. In Illinois, we don't get too many bugs, especially not this time of year. And then, like later in the summer, we'll get some, or spring, we'll get some bugs, and then in the summer, it peaks about July. We start just being lots of cool insects to discover. Last summer, I didn't do too much insect hunting. I may do like some light traps and stuff this summer if I have the time and resources. I mean, I have the resources. All you need is a white sheet and a spotlight, and I can definitely swing those. So we'll maybe make a light trap and take some pictures and stuff. It'll be fun. But I need bugs for my hive. I need bugs to play with and talk about on the show. And right now, I just have my tarantulas and my roaches. And I got one millipede. I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's doing all right. But yeah, it just these organisms. They some of them can be long lived. You know, some of them can live for decades. But that's what I have left. The tarantulas that live that long. Scorpions can too. But I got 2 scorpions from the pet shop, and they both lived about a month and a half and then died. I'm not sure. All right, well, we are edging into more and more of Cryptic Corner time. So, without further ado, I'll recap about the bug drive at the end of the show. Okay, because we may have more engagement at that point. But I'm going to get you guys over to Cryptic Corner. I will see you over there. Good morning, everyone, or should I say good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cryptic Corner. I gotta get this time thing right. I know this premieres on Friday nights at 8, so need to get that down. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cryptic Corner, a little dark corner of the Hive where we like to explore the unknown and the claimed mysterious and see if we can't uncover the truth behind such claims. I'm Bree, your Cryptic Corner host, also called Bumblebee, and welcome to the show tonight. We do record this live from the Hive, and joining me as I explore these topics is the wonderful Hive out there, including my gorgeous swarm of mods. So you'll see them popping up here as we move through asking questions and stuff. So if you are watching this on Cryptic Corner, thank you for joining me, and let's dive right in. So this coming Wednesday is a kind of a big anniversary. Well, not really a big anniversary. Next year is going to be the really big anniversary. It's the 29th anniversary of the 1994 Michigan Lights phenomena. Now, the Michigan Lights phenomena is actually the biggest mass reported UFO sighting in the U.S. history. It was the biggest in U.S. history until 1997, until 3 years later when we had the Phoenix Lights phenomena, which overshadowed it and kind of put it out of mind. But the thing about the two sightings is they have a lot of things in common, and we're going to kind of explore that today. Now, I couldn't find any good copies of the videos that are alleged to be out there of the Michigan light phenomena. I looked all over the place. I found a lot of things claiming to be the Michigan lights that were either reproductions or they were versions of the Phoenix lights or some other phenomena, even some other Michigan phenomena. So I was not able to find anything, at least not anything I could confirm was an actual video captured of the Michigan lights. So unfortunately, we don't have any actual footage. What we do have, though, is a lot of calls explaining what people were seeing. And I think that's what we're going to explore today. Now, I couldn't find anything that was just good quality, I guess. These are going to come through as the sound quality is like 90s. You always remember when Rescue 911? Okay, I got 24 minutes of that. So if you are ready, we'll move into it, but I don't want it to startle anybody how garbled some of this stuff is. Some of it's better than others, and we may speed through some of it and bounce around a little bit to hear certain clips in quotes and stuff. And we've got another one we're going to look at too, but let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get started because there's a lot to get through here. Okay? Let me see. Now, this is actually a video I cut together myself. So if you want to listen to the whole thing in full, you can. This will be released on my channel later this afternoon. I just wanted to let everybody know that what you are about to listen to, all things considered, is going to be on my channel. There we go. All right, let's get this started.
Roll your recorders. You're going to want to record what you're about to hear. In some cases, it's going to be difficult to hear. This is raw audio, and it speaks for itself.
All right, let me know right there if you all can hear it, because that is about the loudest it gets on here, but I can make some adjustments out in OBS if you guys can't hear it.
One center. This tape is made from the unaltered master tape.
This tape was made from the unaltered master tape.
The date's 3/8/94. The time
3/8/94. That's March 8th, 1994.
21:30 hours. Also recorded will be a dispatch conversation with the National Weather Service personnel. Have you heard anything about these lights that are flickering up here?
Can I turn on closed captioning? Yes. There we go. Have you heard anything about these lights in the area? Lights in the area. It's translated to license area.
What is it? The east southeast area? It's like a group. It looks like a string of Christmas lights that's way up in the sky. I wondered if you had heard anything about it.
It thinks that's music. The translator's not, or the closed caption's not doing us much good on this old type of tape. So I'm gonna have to keep translating, I guess. Oh, are y'all talking about the Joplin lights, spook lights and stuff like that? I'm here for it. I'm gonna be doing that soon. No worries. There's a place here in my town that has those. I got a friend that's coming up, and then we're gonna go do a paranormal investigation. So that will probably be on the Hive too.
I'm going to take a look. It's different. I've never seen anything like it.
So this woman's calling in to the National Weather Service, and you can hear her kid talking in the background. Her kid urged her to call. If you're keeping up, her kid urged her to call because they saw this up in the sky. Never seen anything like it. She said it was like a string of Christmas lights.
I don't know. It's strange. But it's right out east southeast. Is way up, and it's just like a circle of a lot of different lights flickering.
Circle of a lot of different lights. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Tubian. Dr. Mordecai, Native Atheist. Hello, hello, hello. People rolling in for the Cryptic Corner. The Joplin lights. I've been to Joplin several times. Yes. I've never seen the Joplin lights, though. I would love to go see them. I would love that to be an adventure to go on. Good excuse to get down there into the Ozark area anyway. I need an Ozark vacation. It's been a long time since I had one of those. Strap up the kayak and... Yeah, that's the same thing that happened to me, Jason. First time I saw the Starlink satellite launch, I didn't know what I was looking at and got all worked up and excited about it. And then I found out what it was because I did some research.
We're not going to allow the address to be given out over the air. We're going to cover that up.
Yeah, they blocked out the address. And yes, I did make an effort to drop the noise floor out of this. It did not... yeah, this is better than it was. East, southeast. Coming down 16th Street. So she's describing a ring of different colored lights in the sky. Way, way up high. She's like 6,000 feet up. I don't know how she made that assessment. Once things get so high, it's really hard for our eyes to just naturally judge distance that far. We just don't, especially looking into the sky. Once things get past couple 100 feet, people have a hard time distinguishing distance. That's why, like, pilots and stuff depend on instruments and not just looking.
You're going to hear a lot of this in between calls. Just random tape noise.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of random tape noise, guys.
I don't know if you guys do anything on UFOs at all.
Do you guys know anything about UFOs at all?
Okay, again, a cut and a wait.
Okay.
Going up and down. Hold on. Oh, excuse me? Okay, what do you have there, sir? There were at least 4 lights, and they were all flashing like okay, there was a sequence. There was a kind of like a V, and there was 4 lights, and they were blinking back.
Random noise, only the finest content here. Here in the Hive. You used to study Foo Fighters? Yes, I'm familiar with the Foo Fighters. That's like the earliest UFO phenomena that really was ever taken seriously by the mainstream like government officials and things like that. Once we started flying and got up there and they started seeing stuff, that's where it comes from. Lights in the sky. Burger King foot lettuce. All right, here we go.
Back and forth. And there's no way, I mean, the plane's not that wide. And then it went down to 3 lights, and it started spinning around. Like, I mean, like, it was a circular motion. Then it started going up and down, and then it went to 2 lights, and then the same thing, and that was 1, and just spinning in a circle. Okay, what you mean?
All right, we're going to cover that up as well. By now, the 911 dispatcher is becoming a believer.
You've seen a UFO for real, Dr. Mordecai? If that's true, I would love to get your story either in written format on, you can send it, we're friends on Twitter, you can send it to me in DM, or if you want to just tell it here. If you'd love to come on and tell the story live to the Hive, I would absolutely enjoy that very much. So if any of you have a UFO, Bigfoot, ghost haunting, let's see, anything really. I'm looking for banshees because I want to cover banshees in the next Saturday, but I don't have any good content on them. So if you have a banshee story, yeah. But this week we're not doing banshees. I want to do something Fae next week. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but something, because St. Patrick's Day is the Friday after. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
You're 419 stretch. All right, we're going to hold that too.
Okay, we'll have somebody stop by and see you. Okay. Thank you.
By now, he's wondering what's going on.
Central Charlie 21, 71 down.
I mean, everybody's going to be wondering what's going on, seeing these lights up in the sky moving around, and yeah, what could it be, right?
Now listen very carefully.
911.
This is the...
Emergency. We just called them off the UFOs. They're out there. Take an airplane. Yeah, we've got a car on the way over there. Let's see, right now. I've got a couple other calls. Really, they see them too? Where are they now? I mean, they're just kind of hanging there. They came up as a group and they kind of split. I bet some kind of higher order feeling like with the airplane. So we've got a car on the way. He was coming from the downtown area. So they're kind of hanging in the general area. It's like maybe the wind might have broken apart like they would be balloons, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so we got a call from Stanford Boy, and I've heard he's heading first, and he's been over here.
Are you all able to hear that one? This one sounds a little bit clearer to me, but maybe it's just because my brain's adjusted to listening to it like that. Like when you listen to books on tape, right? Like when you're listening to a book on tape and you hear the, you speed it up really fast at first, it's like, and then it becomes just normal. Maybe that's what my brain's doing. But I realized I stopped translating for you guys. So tell me if you can't understand it and I'll try to translate. Rick, you'll have to tell me which one. I've covered a lot of them. I did a stream with my friend who's a pilot named Paul Kamish, who also has a channel where he talks about flying, and he's also an atheist and engages with that as well. He does some woo debunking. He did like the vaccine magnetism debunking and things like that. So he's kind of in the same business I am on YouTube, except for he's also a pilot and doesn't do bugs. So yeah, and I had him on and we looked at the Pentagon footage, the ones with the different UFO sightings and stuff that are captured on camera, and kind of went over what he, as someone who's used to looking at these instruments, could determine from it. You were convinced it was a UFO at the time. It was a stealth bomber. Government hadn't let it be known to the public yet. Yeah, that's kind of cool. There's also alleged military vehicles that aren't that could account for some UFO sightings. Definitely, there's some that are real and some that are not officially known yet, and they have fake numbers to them. I should do a show on that sometime too. There's a lot of military weapons and drones that are alleged to exist, but have never been proven. Are you talking about the Tic Tac? I'm convinced that the Tic Tac is a Boyd. If you want to know why, go watch that stream I did with Paul Kamish.
One fellow wants to know what's going on. He's about to make a call. Center dispatch?
Yeah, this is a non-emergency, so feel free to cut me off if something comes in. And I feel kind of silly calling, but my son insisted that I call. Is there any...
This is the one I was thinking of. Sorry, her son insisted that she call.
Air Force airplanes or helicopters flying around in Alabama County tonight?
Oh, we've had reports out Stratford Way in that area of life, and they're checking it out.
Stratford Way? Now, where would that be? We're right on Ottagon on the county line.
Yeah, it's down in that area.
It is?
Holland City.
Pardon?
Right now, it's by Holland City.
Okay, because he saw them heading southeast of the county line of Ottawa and
Yeah, we've got them.
Let's just hear those tape skips and stuff. This is old school. This is the kind of like when we used to watch Rescue 911 back in the day is what this reminds me of. That's how I kind of like tried to set this up too. I hope I did a good job on the visuals here of how they used to do it when they'd have somebody talking on dispatch on Rescue 911. I was trying to emulate that a little bit, but give it a little bit of a X-File like touch. So hope I did a good job on giving it that little aesthetic.
It's all to do with radio towers down in the area.
It has something to do with what?
Radio towers down in the area.
They're in the air.
Why would radio towers being down in the area make these make lights in the sky? That doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make sense to you, Hive? I'm gonna put this to a vote just because, okay? We're gonna vote on this. There you go. So now you all get to decide. Is this caused by radio towers being down in the area?
How many songs? Okay, I was at a real high hill, right on the county line there. It was like at a 45-degree angle to the ground. There's like probably 4 or 5 lights, and they're all flashing right in a row from the top all the way down to the bottom. And it was sitting there for a while, and then it leveled off, and then it moved southeast. It was up in the air quite a bit.
Yeah, we got an officer down the area checking on it right now.
Okay.
Okay?
It took off real fast.
Okay, yeah, we'll let them know.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, by now the 911 dispatcher is getting very, very curious about what's going on.
Yeah, so there's 911 dispatchers, and then there's the people from the National Weather Service that saw these things showing up on their radar. So it's very intriguing. And before anybody asks, I don't have a definitive answer for this, but I do have something that my my friend and former co-host Jim Majors, not Jim Majors, no, not that guy, Jim Barrows, who something he said. I'm going to play that here in a minute too, but we're going to see how much more of this that my ears can take. I'm thinking about switching over to the other. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the other one. It's a little cleaner, and this one again will be in full on my channel if you want to listen to the whole thing. I can't deal with any more of this first thing this morning. I got a little bit of a headache, and I knew that was going to be a bit of a problem, but I can't listen to this staticky stuff anymore. So we're going to listen to a different set of... This one's not perfect, but this comes from All That's Interesting. Is this the one that has the audio? Yes, here we go. Okay, so we're going to listen to this one. Okay, so this one's been cleaned up a lot better. It's got some of the same recordings, but it's just not as extensive.
Also recorded will be a dispatch conversation with the National Weather Service personnel. 911. We were just wondering, have you heard anything about these lights that are flickering up here in the, what is it, the east-southeast area? It's like a group. It's
flickering lights.
Christmas lights that's way up in the sky. And we wondered if you had heard anything about it.
Not a thing.
Wow, you might not have somebody take a look. It's different. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know. It's strange. But it's right out east-southeast. It's way up. And it's just like a circle.
It's funny because I hear that little kid and I'm like, oh, there's like a little kid. But that person's my age. That person's like as old as me now. And I would have been the same way to my mom. I'd be like, call the UFO people. You got to call and tell them there was a UFO. Because that was all about watching, like, I talked about watching Rescue 911. You know what was on after Rescue 911 in my house? Unsolved Mysteries. Which is where I actually first heard about this, ironic enough. And it also made it difficult to find or to look for footage of this. Because I will not, I'm not exaggerating when I say every time, no matter what the thumbnail image showed, every time that I clicked on a video that said, hey, this is footage from the March 8th, 1994 UFO sighting in Michigan, every time I clicked on it, it was the reenactment footage from Unsolved Mysteries. Of course it was. Why wouldn't it be? Somebody's birthday? Whose birthday is it? My birthday is not until July, so it's not mine. I'm looking. No, I don't see whose birthday. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Of a lot of different lights flickering. And it's different than any airplane.
Okay, your address, please?
Well, we're at 354 Country Club Road.
Okay, and you say, what direction is it?
It's, looking out.
They didn't care about keeping the other video also blocked out names and addresses. These people just like, oh, no, go ahead. So if these people still live here, 30 years later.
At the front of our house, it's, what direction did you say that was? East-southeast. And that's when you're coming down 16th Street, right to Country Club Road. If you look to your immediate, just to your lower...
I think this is literally the same one that they bleeped out.
Right. They're right there in the sky. This is something we've never seen before.
Okay, we'll have somebody check it out.
All right.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. 911?
Yeah, is this the police?
We do the dispatching phone services center.
Okay, I don't know if you guys do anything on UFOs at all. Yeah, real.
Where'd he go? Oh yeah, this is the one.
Lights into the same thing, and I was looking at it in the vertical now, and I'm not really. Let's see. Wait a minute. There's something right there. Okay, let's see what that is. Looks like.
Hold on, let me go back to where this guy starts describing it, because this guy I think gives the best description.
In the same spot you were before? No. Well, that would make a move to me, you know. I mean, if you're standing on one side of your house, you go to the other, yeah, they're going to be in a different location. So I was just kind of curious if you noticed anything or anything on there at all.
I'm looking at it in the vertical now, and I'm not really. Let's see. Wait a minute. There's something right there. Okay, let's see what that is. Looks like. There's a large return down there. Let's see. That looks like it's up about maybe. Well, it disappeared, but it was up about 6,000 feet in about. Could have been a plane. I don't know, but it was pretty big. Wait a minute. Let's see what that was.
They're getting a bunch of.
He said it could have been a plane, so that's interesting. He's the first person to concede that it could have been a plane.
Weird ones down there, and like I say, now it's starting to appears to be moving a little bit south.
Yeah, okay. Well, it moved. Let's see. Yeah, there's something big down there. Wait a minute, that's really strange. I get it down at I'm getting it down around South Bend. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong graph. Let's see.
Really strange.
If I can find the right overlay.
See, gosh, I really wish that I could find a video of this, because people keep saying it's like a string of Christmas lights. They say it's like, sorry if I bumped my wire again. They say it's a circle of flashing lights that's laying vertical, that's laying that's horizontal. I just want to know what exactly it looked like. And everybody keeps giving.
Yeah, I can say exactly what I'm seeing. Can't find it. Oh, shoot. It's moving. I can see it moving, and it's just moved about.
The east side or the west side of the road, goodness.
Well, let me get the range stroke. Let's see. It should. It looks like it's around 82 kilometers from me. That puts it down about. Yeah, right down at the right down near South Haven.
Okay, this would be north of this.
And
right at the Allegan-Ottawa County line.
I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I think that since this one's cleaner, we can afford to speed it up.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's moving. It's moving towards the west-southwest. And it looks like a big blob.
Yeah, that's the way it was explained to us.
And it's not.
Big blob.
I think it's almost off the scope. Let me go to another.
This is weird.
Let me go to another. Let's see. Hey, it looks like it's fizzled out. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. What's that? Yeah, it was up about 6,000 feet or so. And unless that was a really seeing it. Okay. And I can't.
See, it's 6,000 feet again. It's yeah.
It disappears. It's moving because.
One pass is here, the next pass is gone.
Yeah. Well, I got it on manual now. I'm just kind of I'm continuously radiating on it, and looks like it's steady right now. So up about.
5,000 feet. And it's a pretty strong return.
Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen. Now I'm getting multiple returns.
It does kind of sound like they're seeing like the SpaceX launch, right? That's what it reminds me of when I saw, or not the SpaceX, the Starlink launch is what this reminds me of so much. How I reacted, how a lot of people reacted who didn't expect to see it. It's just ironic because I think that Michigan was one of the areas that actually had some of the sightings that were the Starlink launch too. I think that was real.
One of the people that called that I had happened to talk to said it looked like a bunch of cylindrical objects.
Well, oh my God, what is that?
They were going together and coming apart.
Yeah, there's three, and they're lengthwise. Now I'm getting three of them, and I'm getting a third one now, and they're separated by about looks like about 5,000 feet in height, and about maybe
An officer just sent me a message here. He says
about maybe they're separated by about 50 kilometers.
Where's the guy? Maybe he's trained to do this. I don't know. I don't know if I could say something was separated by 50 kilometers up in the sky, far away. I don't know if I could, especially if something that I would think was, a mile up in the air. I don't know if two objects a mile up in the air separated by 50 kilometers. And it's weird that he's given, but again, I'm not sure what's going on here. They're given some measurements in feet and then measurements in kilometers. Is this a Canadian?
And they're very strong returns. I'm getting a real they're spiking, so there's something pretty solid. It's not precipitation or anything, especially up at that height.
Yeah, an officer in Holland City just sent me a message. He says, can we identify anything further? He says, it looks like 3 to 4 of them.
I'm seeing three, and they're separated by, they look like a triangle on my scope. I'm looking one around down by, let's see, I'm seeing one down near South Haven. I'm seeing another one over Lake Michigan, about northwest of Benton Harbor, and another one over, west of, or east of Benton Harbor, which would be near, looks like Decatur. I'm seeing three of those. They're very strong. Now I'm getting another one down in Berrien County. These are huge returns. I've never seen anything like this. Not even when I'm doing storms. These aren't storms. They're just popping up all over the place.
This is strange, because the officer says it's green and red lights. It does not look like an airplane.
Okay.
They come together and then they separate, and they just keep doing this all the time.
And you're seeing that? Yeah, I'm seeing three returns.
You have the line of distance marked on your glasses. I think he's got a telescope. I think this guy must have a telescope who they're talking to right now, saying where he's seeing these at.
They've moved positions now. South Haven, looks like, shed more light. South Haven. Okay, that one over by South Haven.
I want to take a note that, I can see folks who aren't familiar with military aircraft maneuverability thinking that it's aliens or something. I don't even think it's that complex, Jason. I'll tell you what my opinions are on it momentarily. But keep in mind that they're doing a triangle. That's important.
Just zoomed over to the northwest by about, now they changed positions again. One about 20 miles west of South Haven. Another one just above, looks like the Cal Coloma, and the other one is just off the coast of Benton Harbor.
Wow, this is weird.
Okay, now that one near South Haven has moved. It's moving further out into Lake Michigan. I'm getting them up. Okay, I'm getting it popped. The one, now I'm getting 4. No? Yeah, I got 4 for a while. Now I'm getting another one way down. I did for a little while.
All right, now he's got 4 of these. So that's not a how can it be? That's gonna be, I guess it's not a triangle anymore.
They're all up around about between 7,000 and 12,000 feet.
Oh, this is strange. This is really weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's some kind of energy or the radar is picking up something. I wish I could.
Oh, the radar is picking up something. This is I just realized this guy right here that's giving all the height and distance and stuff. He is the radar technician at the National Weather Service talking to him. I missed that because I jumped ahead that he identified himself as that. So this is the guy. This is the guy that in all the articles that came out last year that was like, he was talking about how he felt vindicated about with the Pentagon released footage and things like that. But I don't think what they describe here is similar to anything seen on the Pentagon footage. But this is almost done.
I wish we had a picture of this, but
to find out exactly where he sees them was.
Yeah.
Union 22, can you guys objects south of you yet or right overhead?
One that's our southwest from 16th and Country Club area.
Yeah, he says they're southwest of College City. So that could be that one by Benton Harbor if it's up that high. This is really weird.
Yeah, I was getting 4. Okay, now they've moved position again. And I'm sweeping it back and forth in kind of like a triangle, just back and forth from where the beam is spotted towards Chicago, then I sweep it back toward maybe Fort Wayne. Mm-hmm. And each.
All right, so let's have a look and see, because the Michigan lights came after this, but this is the maps. Or sorry, I keep getting them mixed up. The Phoenix lights came after this, but these are the maps that the individual that's reporting this was able to sort of draw on it. And he's talking about one being off this direction, one over here, and then this one up here over the lake on his radar, right? And that's how they were showing up on the radar. Down here you got like Fort Wayne and whatnot, and the radar station's right here on Lake Michigan, and they see one north over Lake Michigan, one sort of south towards Fort Wayne, and then one that's closer to the radar here. And he's like, oh, they're like big blobs. They didn't like planes, because planes come up as like pinpoints on it. I don't have any specific explanation for how they showed up on radar, other than what we're going to get into here. So here's what Jim said about the Phoenix lights. And I think that that a lot of this could comport to the Michigan lights, but you tell me what you think.
Yeah. And if you're talking about like the triangles type things, like say for the Phoenix lights in 1997.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what those were. We know what those were, right? They were flares being dropped over a military range. But
I tend to disagree with you on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in Phoenix for all that, and quite frankly, what people were claiming was laughable. They were taking several people took shots with their cell phones and were claiming they could do X-ray and IR analysis off of a cell phone, and it just
Look at HRT Bree up there, looking cute with her headband and little Mike Mantis and butterfly t-shirt. I was trying really hard back then. I mean, I'm still trying hard, but you know, back then it was like limited resources, right? It's only so much you can do.
complete total utter bullshit. You need a camera capable of seeing into the IR, and phone cameras aren't. Certainly not 1997, and not today either. But yeah, I mean, most of these things have been thoroughly debunked. If you don't know what you saw, it's quite correct to call it a UFO. But to make any conclusions about it, I don't see how you can make any conclusions about something that you did not apparently clearly see, or get a good enough picture that, I mean, when you blow it up, is the picture starting to pixelate at that point? Are you blowing it up that far? What kind of camera did you use? What was the megapixel rating on it?
Yeah, the light's a single pixel. Yeah, anyway, so that was his opinion on the Michigan light, or I keep getting mixed up again, on the Phoenix lights, and I think that we can probably comport that same thing over to the Michigan lights. I don't have a definitive, this is what, you know, this is, every time, I don't have a definitive answer as to, you know, this is what it is. This is exactly what happened, but it does sound like triangulated military maneuvers with aircraft involved, and potentially skydivers with flares doing a triangulated military maneuver over the Great Lake region. I can't say that for sure, but that's what it sounds like to me, based on again how they describe the actions of these lights. And then again, of course, there is also the potential for a very basic hoax at night. You just take some balloons and you tie them together you tie 3 balloons together, so they're going to form a triangle, and you spread them far apart. Helium balloons, obviously. And then you attach flares or sparklers to them. Nowadays you can attach LEDs to them, and you just release them on a dark night where people aren't going to be able to see the balloons. And that's the reason why I don't think that's what this is the radar stuff. But I think a lot of triangles in the sky is people doing hoaxes like that. You can also just daisy chain them together in a big circle or in a big string, release them that way with sparklers or flares on them. You can, this is simple stuff that you know, people have been caught doing. People have been prosecuted for doing, even because it caused panic. And the people who report when they see these types of pranks, they don't report it like they're seeing flares in the sky. It's a big triangle. It's dark. It's a big triangle with 3 lights at each corner, and it's really dark, and you can't really hardly see it. It's this big black triangle, right? And that's almost always what it comes down to. Every time I've looked into it, anyway. I don't know, but that was my take on the Michigan Lights of 1994. Again, the anniversary of that is the 8th, which is this coming Wednesday. Yes. So I don't know if Michigan journalists are going to be releasing anything about it later this week, or if there's doing anything new proposed regarding the cause. But yeah, I was happy to listen to a little bit of that with you guys. Sorry, the audio quality on most of these is really terrible, but it's 911 calls and calls to the National Weather Service and things like that. In the 90s, that's how they sounded. I know we got clearer signals now. Well, heck, I think police still use local, like terrestrial communication systems that still have those sort of defects with the static and things like that. You know, that wavelength is really staticky. Anyway, yeah. So thank you for joining me this morning. Yeah, if you were watching this live from Hive, you were joining me this morning. And thank you for sticking with me if you're sitting through this at Cryptic Corner on Friday night, and a lot to go through, and I may have to swap out the audio on these when I re-release this so that we can have better quality sound. We'll see what the future holds on this. This is still this won't release for a couple of like probably 5-6 weeks out. Generally, that's how Cryptic Corner runs. I do them live here, and then we run them about 5 to 6 weeks out. Sometimes a little bit more than that, but we're trying to narrow it down. I keep saying we. I know I'm the one in charge, but you know, I do have a group of people that I consult. Anyway, this has been live from the Hive's Cryptic Corner. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please remember to be kind and take care, and we'll see you next time. Now, if you're watching this live from the Hive right now, stick around, because this is just segment 1 of 3 coming to an end here. We are live from the Hive, and up next we have CreationWatch, and it's going to be a fun one. You're not going to want to miss it. This one is courtesy of the Johnster Monster there in the live chat, bringing this to my attention. We are well, you'll see when we get over there. But first, an announcement from our president.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Joint Forces, I am here today to inform you that a number of unidentified flying objects have appeared over many parts of our country. Though their exact origin remains to be fully determined, the FBI has informed me that it is very likely that these are visitors of extraterrestrial nature. I advise the American people to remain calm, not fall into panic, and wait for further announcements. We shall overcome this threat with confidence and vigilance. May God protect our souls.
Hello there. And they'll say that it's a primitive idea that it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. To Google, rained for millions of years. That time that it rained for 2 million years. That it rained for millions of years is a copying error. Supposedly is what makes us better. Those mutations make us better in evolution. Popping up new families through natural selection. Well, we don't see that at all. And so whenever an evolutionist tries to open up an animal shelter and shelter a endangered species, as they call it, and that the idea that dinosaurs farted themselves into extinction, how dinosaurs gassed themselves into extinction. I mean, this theory has been around for a long time, that dinosaurs actually farted themselves to death. Millions of years of supposed geologic time. Another layer comes, solidify, and you have Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Archeozoic ages in the Grand Canyon. They literally stomped through millions of years of supposed geologic time over millions of years. You know, people have been influenced to think that you have to have this long-term relationship. Whoso findeth that the flood of Noah never happened. These things will not last in the ground for 10,000 years waiting to be fossilized, for over 10,000 years as they're slowly getting fossilized. I mean, what a joke. You need to compare the Messiah of Islam to the Messiah of Christianity, and that the idea that the geologic column is somehow true. So whenever people say the phrase Grand Canyon, it literally is defined as sedimentary rock, which is defined as rock that was laid down by water. The geologic column time scale, known as the geologic column, is reliable, and we can date the crust of the earth. How are we supposed to trust this radiometric dating process for rocks of an unknown age, that this radiometric dating process is no good and that it's unscientific and should be thrown in the trash can.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a CreationWatch, where we take a look at some wild creation concepts, from flat Earth to young Earth to hollow Earth. Sometimes that overlaps with CryptoCorner a bit, but today we are going to be looking at some zany beliefs of another group, one that we haven't ever covered on this show before. A group with some wild alternative history under their belt. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then I want to introduce you to the city of Zarahemla. I guess is how you would say it. Let me see here. Yeah, this is from the Mormon wiki itself. This is their own wiki. I want to tell you what Zarahemla is, okay? Zarahemla was the name of a major Nephite city as recorded in the Book of Mormon, part of the official canon of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint. The city of Zarahemla, you want to say Himla, Zarahemla. I want to say Helma, but I love this pink too. Thank you. Let's see, where was I? The Book of Mormon explains how Mosiah came to this land and was later made king. For behold, he, Mosiah, being warned of the Lord that he should flee out of the land of Nephi, and as many as would hearken unto the voice of the Lord should go also, depart out of the land with him into the wilderness. And it came to pass that he did according as the Lord had commanded him. And they departed out of the land and into the wilderness until they came upon the land which is called the land of Zarahemla. And they discovered a people who were called the people of Zarahemla. Now there was great rejoicing among the people of Zarahemla, and also Zarahemla did rejoice exceedingly, because the Lord had sent the people of Mosiah with the plates of brass which contained the record of the Jews. So you know the plates that Joseph Smith had in the hat and all that. That's what we're talking about. These were in this city. So let's keep reading, because this is getting weird, right? There's a big city in North America or South America, somewhere in the Matt Powell style wilderness. That was my Matt Powell. See the air quotes? Took it full circle. You wondered why I used that intro. Wilderness. I don't know what that means. The trek that they're supposed to have made over the Bering Strait, like what we see in the fossil record. Let's read on. The people of Zarahemla had come from the land of Jerusalem under the leadership of Mulek, and the only surviving son of King Zedekiah. The people of Zarahemla are thus often referred to as Mulekites. The Nephites, I think it's Nephites is how you say that. It might be Nephites, but if it's wrong, I'm saying Nephites, because that's how I think I've always heard it said. Okay, the Nephites taught the Mulekites their language and united to become one people, appointing Mosiah to be their king, of course. So presumably these are supposed to be indigenous people, so like Native Americans that took yeah, they have to take the white guy as king, right? That's how you do it. That's how you colonize. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem that that I don't know if all the people of that King Zedekiah gathered together were sterile or what, because they didn't leave any traces in their genome behind with the Native American people, right? They didn't leave any of their offspring. So how they just ruled until that generation died, and that was it, I guess, because yeah, there is no matching haplogroup for Semitic people in the upper plains of North America in ancient times. It's just not a thing that exists. I don't know. All right. So, although it was at the heart of the Nephite world, Zarahemla was not always a righteous city. Many books of Mormon prophets are recorded chastening the people of Zarahemla. When Christ was crucified in the old world, earthquakes and storms shook the Americas. During this time, Zarahemla caught fire and was destroyed. It was rebuilt later and became a large city. The city existed about 500 years. What eventually became of it and its inhabitants is not mentioned in the Book of Mormon. The location of Zarahemla is also not known, and the church does not give any official statements about where it may be, though many members speculate about where it might have been. So this is the topic of discussion for today. Where was Zarahemla? Let's read on, because are you interested in knowing where this ancient, very real city of Zarahemla that was totally not made up by Joseph Smith, who didn't understand the genealogical history of indigenous peoples and adhered to the then popular notion that the Native Americans were members of the Lost Tribes of Israel, which was popular in the mid to late 1800s. What do you think? What do you think is more likely? This is a very real city that actually existed, or based upon perhaps maybe some traveler's tales that our friend Joseph Smith had heard about people traveling west and finding lost cities, putting that together with his idea of the Lost Tribes of Israel coming to North America and forming their own nations and all that jazz that made up the native populations and the ruined cities. Because it's weird that I have to go back this far, but when earliest explorers, when Columbus and then some conquistadors and people, searching for gold and stuff, when they came to North America and South America as explorers and interacted with people, they didn't set up settlements in these or colonies or anything in these areas. Like they knew that there was, they were conquered islands and things like that. Columbus had taken, Espanola or whatever for Portugal. Was it? No, it was Spain. Took it for Spain. That's right. And that was a hub. But the other regions of South America and North America where these, at the time, empires were basically in place. They didn't even get contacted with those people. They knew about them and kind of, I think they had made brief contact with them. They didn't have to trade with them, and they came, and then about 80 to 100 years later, when settlers decided to come, these indigenous populations had just died. Not only had they died, but their cities were kind of taken back by the jungle, right? Or taken back by Gaia, and swallowed up. That's where you get like legends like the Lost City of El Dorado and things like that. And I know lost cities generally pique my interest, which is why this one specifically. So thank you again, John, Johnster Monster, for sharing this with me. Yeah, Zarahemla is basically, it's not pulled out. He didn't pull out of his arse though. He pulled it out of a hat. A hat full of golden plates, apparently. Okay. During the life of Joseph Smith, the name Zarahemla was revitalized as commanded in Doctrine and Covenants 125. See the verses below. In May 1839, Zarahemla became a small settlement in Lee County, Iowa, about 1 mile west of the Mississippi. Not far from the bombastic bumblebee. I'm not far from this ancient metropolis. West of the Mississippi, Joseph Smith selected the site for the town in July of 1839. The site was confirmed by revelation in March of 1841. The stake formed by October 1839, and the name changed to Zarahemla by August 1841. The stake had 750 members in 9 branches, with John Smith, the prophet's uncle, presiding. Other prominent members were George A. Smith and his wife, Bathsheba Smith. Joseph Smith discontinued the stake in January 1842 and replaced it with a branch. The town was absorbed by the city of Montrose after 1846. And that is just a basic history of what Zarahemla is. So now they think that Joseph Smith had some divine revelation, so he knew where that was. Let's see, they got a little further insight blurb here, and then we're going to move right on to what John shared with me, which is the apple of my eye right now for this topic. Further insight. More recent evidence gathered and published by men such as Brother Rod Meldrum and others, and endorsed by at least one well-known general authority on a 4-hour DVD, from DNA markers and the writings of Prophet Joseph Smith, strongly suggest that the geography of the Book of Mormon was the North American continent all along, and has been understood by critics of the church and members alike, placing Zarahemla across the river from Nauvoo, which is really close to me too, according to a handwritten letter from Joseph to Emma, wherein he also refers to their walking across the plains of Nephites while on their trek to the border of the Lamanites, would then indicate the Mississippi River to be what the Nephites and the Lamanites knew as the river Sidon. Additionally, we have the scriptures themselves to place the site. So do we call the Mississippi the river Sidon if we're Mormon? Are there any Mormons out there, ex-Mormons? Anybody who can tell me if they actually do call the Mississippi Sidon when they're talking about like the modern river and stuff? That would be really weird. But I'm here for it if they do that. That's kind of funny. It's always like just words that Joseph Smith made up, right? They're just gobbledygook words. There's no... This is a gobbledygook word anyway. I don't think it has any proper pronunciation. So let's look at this real quick, though. I want to see their big picture here. Does it get bigger than this? No. All right, I think that's all we get out of that. So let's close out of there. So a lot of the people would, when they were trying to decipher where this place might be, would often put it in Mesoamerica and give the people of Zarahemla credit for these prominent Mesoamerican civilizations that did so good here. Right around the Guatemala Peninsula, and where it makes this big U. It's the Fertile Crescent of the Western world, right? Where all these big kingdoms really started out and were doing well. Basically, they were in their late Bronze Age, but they were, I shouldn't say Bronze Age, but it was a comparable age. But they were using. It's cool because they used obsidian instead of. They had made an obsidian industry instead of a bronze industry, but they had copper and things like that, but gold, but they didn't smelt bronze. They did obsidian instead. That's probably because they didn't have very much access to tin in this region. Potentially, they could have if we hadn't come in and wrecked their. It basically declared unofficial biological warfare on them. They would have seen what they would have done and where things would have went. Would have been really cool. But yeah, they weren't. They also were not the lost tribes of Israel as far as the genetics go, right? As far as we can tell. But that's where a lot of people want to put it, because that's where all the big stone fancy buildings that brown people could not, brown people couldn't have built those. They had to have white people help them. That's really just the narrative behind lost cities and things like that. And sorry, I bumped my mic again. Yeah, that's also the issue with that colonizer mindset. It's like, oh, who built these things? Because these savages couldn't have. Get over yourself. But yeah, there's a few different propositions about where it is. Here's one where it gives it in the in the Eastern Great Lake region, which is that's a take. It really narrows down what land they were in and what kind of environment they would have had in relation to each other. But it's like, however you want to take it. This is like Western New York and Canada and stuff. So there's people that present it all over the place. But with this Iowa thing that they're really banging their drum for. Yeah, here's one where what is this a map of? I can't even tell where this is a map of. Somebody recognize this landscape? I'm tilting my head because it says this is west and this is east, but I don't even know if that stacks up because some of these ideas are so crazy. I'm not going to speculate on where that is unless somebody else knows. If somebody can say, hey, that's this place, I'm going to be down for it. I'm going to be here for it. All right. And then here's just like a Tolkien style version of it where they just make it into a fictional place, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, this is the wilderness and yeah, that sort of trip, right? But that's probably the best way to look at it with what information we have. However, this just dropped. Now this does put me very near the because I'm in west central Illinois. The red line actually crosses over my house. Very close to the city of Zarahemla. So maybe we should go on a field trip there instead. We could go on a weekend trip there without even any issue at all. But we got a zoomed in version of this map up here, and I'm going to read this article, okay? So let's look first. Zell, land of Zarahemla. So I'm guessing Zell is Cahokia, which is where the mountains are, right? Nauvoo is like right about here. Nauvoo, Nauvoo was when Joseph Smith got booted from New York. This is where he first went and settled and land claim in Illinois, and then they crossed the river and established. Like they said, the city of Zarahemla, but it was reabsorbed and whatnot. But as far as the ancient city goes, they're looking for it here. So let's explore why. Mormon geography, why some Latter-day Saints are digging for a lost city in southeastern Iowa. The Book of Mormon is largely set in the Americas, but the sacred places mentioned have never been identified. Zarahemla, a key metropolis from the book, has variously been positioned in North, Central, and South America. One group of Mormon archaeologists now believe the lost city may be found in southeastern Iowa. Where is Zarahemla? Mormons, otherwise known as the followers of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, have been looking for the lost city for decades. Some think they are now close to finding it in southeastern Iowa. Using LIDAR, which is like radar but uses a different wavelength, the Heartland Research Group has been scanning hundreds of acres of farmland outside Montrose, a small township on the banks of the Mississippi. The Book of Mormon, according to the HRG, Zarahemla counted about 100,000 inhabitants at its peak around 320 AD. That would have made it the largest city in North America at the time. No obvious above-ground structures remain. However, a population of that size would require a lot of fire pits for cooking and keeping warm. And that is exactly what the HRG hopes to find. A lot of fire pits, at least 1,700 years old. So, for most of history, the area of the Great Plains, where Iowa starts about 50 to 100 miles west of the Mississippi, it becomes a homogeneous plain. Here, like close to the river, where it's hills and valleys, it's like the Shire from Lord of the Rings. It's very lush and green and hilly and little forest and stuff like that. But once you get out 80 to 100 miles west of here, it starts to become real homogeneous. You can actually start seeing it when you get about just 30 or 40 miles out, but it really becomes the dominant landscape when you get further west, about 80 to 100 miles. And you start to see all other landscape kind of disappear, except for maybe some little forest around creeks and rivers and things like that. But anyway, the inhabitants of this region had never been subjected to agriculture, like ever. It had just been a great big plain for as long as since the end of the Younger Dryas. We'll just say that since then it's been this big plain, just grasses growing, herds of buffalo, and then nomadic people that did temporary settlements back and forth on seasons as they followed their herd of prey or switched out to different prey, depending on which group you're talking about, because some of them did move into the the Rockies and switched, or the closer to the Rockies, and switched to hunting smaller game in the colder months. Anyway, enough about that. The HRG, we're gonna look into them in just a moment. Let me finish reading this though, because they're the major player here. So what is Zarahemla? If you're not familiar with the sacred geography of the Mormons, think Jerusalem with a dash of Atlantis. That's a good description. As a major city, the Book of Mormon, Zarahemla has great spiritual significance for the faithful, but has been located at various places in north, south. We have the same thing that you just set up there. The Iowa starting line reported last November on the HRG's most recent expedition to Iowa. It's so weird to think about expedition to Iowa. Did they talk to the indigenous people there? So far, the field work and data analysis has not yielded any conclusive evidence of a major prehistoric urban site near Montrose. Incidentally, just across the river from Nauvoo, Illinois, an important way station for the Mormons' westward trek to Utah. Destroyed the day Jesus died on the cross. Even if the dig turns up something significant, Native Americans certainly will object to a Mormon reading of what they can justifiably claim is their past. In other words, the obstacle to objectively establishing the existence of Zarahemla are pretty substantial. Yeah, trying to appropriate Native people's ancestral civilizations and town centers as part of your woo-woo mystery cult is not cool. Not cool at all. Until that happens, all the evidence for the city's existence is in the Book of Mormon. In that text, Zarahemla is the name of a person from the old world and of a city founded by his people in the new world. In 3rd Nephi, the 11th of the 15th book that make up the Book of Mormon. Good grief, there's 15 books in the Book of Mormon. Give me a break. It says that on the day Jesus died on the cross, there were exceedingly sharp lightnings which never had been known in all the land. And the city of Zarahemla did take fire. So from that, I'm assuming that Zarahemla was a... Again, sorry about bumping that wire. I'll fix that after the show. There's a thing I got to put it in to make it stay. Sorry if I keep bumping it, it's annoying. What was I saying? Every time I bump that, I feel like I'm... Oh yeah, it had been made out of wood, right? For the structures to just burn down. So we're not talking like a stone city. We're not talking like a city like what you find in the Mesoamerica's civilizations. But a city maybe constructed of logs. But the indigenous people who lived in this area were actually they did earth structures, right? They did mound building, and they did their mound building burials too. And there's mound exactly those people lived here where I am. There's their mounds are there's. Along the top of the bluffs in Mississippi, there's about a 3-mile stretch with Native American mounds. All along it, we have parks with preserved sites. We have a place called Indian Mounds Park here, which is you can go see the mounds yourself. So it was very clear what type of people lived in this area in these times and what kind of structures they would have left behind. So if the same people lived in the area, because this is the same area, you would expect similar types of structures to be remaining. But you also got to consider that, again, I'm in the Mississippi Valley, very different biome than when you get out further west into the plains. So maybe they will find a camp where some nomadic people would set up shop to harvest their bison or something like that near this township. Maybe that's what Joseph Smith found when he staked his claim there. What follows is a litany of other terrible disasters, storms and earthquakes, cities drowned and destroyed, mountains and valleys transformed, all in the space of 3 hours. Untold numbers died. Then the land is covered by darkness that lasts 3 days and is so thick that no fires or candles can be lit to pierce it. Weird how all the native people who lived in this hemisphere at the time didn't have any record of that, and it did not do any damage to their structures and to their Mesolithic remains. They survived all those earthquakes and valleys turning over and mountains rising and falling. Those are some lucky monuments. I guess that could be a monument or a testament to their gods being more powerful than Jesus, because they were able to resist his atomic death throws. The atomic death throws of Christ were no match for the Aztec god Quetzalcoatlus as he coiled his rainbow feathered body about his ancient cities and protected them from destruction. Yeah, I'm going to clip that. And in one place, they were heard to cry, saying, "Oh, that we had repented before this great and terrible day, and then would our brethren have been spared, and they would not have been buried in the great city of Zarahemla." Yeah. On the third day, Jesus comes back from the dead. The darkness is lifted. Survivors of the cataclysm who gather in a nearby place called Bountiful are visited by a risen Christ who teaches them the core beliefs of what is to be their church. The mainstream Christians, sorry, I want to read that. The only way to truly do reparations for the indigenous people is support my nightmare reign of terror to join me in disrupting the current system of white supremacy. Here. Yeah, white supremacy sucks. To mainstream Christians, all this sounds exceedingly strange, but of course they do not accept the Book of Mormon, the full title, which adds another testament of Jesus Christ. Yeah, here's one that, I guess that's the Panama, where this is supposed to be. In the 1916 map, identifies a portion of modern-day Colombia just below Panama. Yeah, okay. So that's what it is. Whatever theological singularity is contained... Can you pluralize singularities? Singularities? James Apperson, I was just talking about you earlier. I was like, that James Apperson. Not really, though. Good to see you this morning. Whatever theological singularities it contains, the Book of Mormon's most striking difference with mainstream Christianity is one of location. Both the Old Testament and the New Testament are set entirely in or near the Holy Land on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean. The Book of Mormon, engraved on golden plates in Reformed Egyptian and revealed by an angel named Moroni to Joseph Smith in 1820, His name was Moroni. He sounds like a mobster. Isn't that one of the villain gangs in like Gotham City? The Falcones and the Moronis? That's just what it makes me think of. Sorry, Angel Dude, your name sounds like a Batman gangster. All right, and it takes place largely in the Americas in the millennium, circa 600 BCE to circa 400 CE. Oh yeah. It recounts how Israelite prophet Lehi and others sailed across the Atlantic from the Middle East, giving rise to rival people in the Americas and the sacred history of their relationship to God. The foundational text of the Church of Latter-day Saints is rife with names of those people, their cities, and other places of significance, but none has yet been positively identified by objective archaeology. Yeah, so there's where it was. This one map was made. More precisely in the Chiapas, as proposed by John L. Sorensen. So here's Zarahemla. Why? Perhaps because of the centuries that have elapsed between the demise of the civilizations described in the book and the book's rediscovery and translation by Joseph Smith, an ocean of time vast enough to erase virtually any trace of that past, or perhaps the book's inspiration was less angelic. Mark Twain called it a tedious plagiarism of the New Testament, among other things. And its people and places were entirely made up. Yes, the answer is B. B is the answer. Mark Twain. Tell Mark Twain what he wins, Hive. Because I agree with Twain here. And the evidence that we should have, that we would expect from a ancient civilization, an ancient Semitic civilization in the Americas is just not there. The way that they built things, the way that they lived, their way of life is not present in the Americas. There's no remains which seem to indicate a Semitic people was ever present, which is weird considering how present they are in Mesopotamia, where that's pretty much all you can find for large swaths of time are these people of these specific people groups, or remains of these specific people groups and their cultures and societies, and none of that rolls over. Yeah, there's aliens, definitely James Aberson, always the aliens. Matching sacred topography to reveal geography. And this is also where you can call BS, because we have so many sites, right, like I said, right here where I live, that show who was living where during what time period. No Nephites, no, what is the other one? Lemonites or Lemonites or no, none of these groups. No Nephites, no Lemonites. I keep mispronouncing that one. It's on one of these maps here. I think it's on the North American one. What's the word I'm looking for? These people, what are the people of Lehi called? Leonites? Can't remember. I know they're Nephites because they call them Nephites right here. But anyway, yeah. Getting back to where I was here. Whichever is the case, the Book of Mormon has saddled the religion it spawned with the curious task of attempting to match its sacred topography with real geography of the Americas, which is hilarious and fun to watch them do. A topological map of the Book of Mormon, like the one above, it is the map in shades of brown, is a fairly non-controversial way to start. It only shows the various places mentioned in the book as they relate to each other without attempting to link them to any actual terrain of the New World. On the map, we see land masses, or a landmass, divided into three main parts: the First Inheritance, the Wilderness, Narrows and otherwise, and the land northward. Some of the place names are direct borrowings from those of persons or places in the biblical world: Jerusalem, Ishmael, Aaron. Others have a strictly New World flavor: Zizram, Nephah, Shimlon. Those are very racist. What makes those, in referring to those as New World flavored, what makes these gobbledygook made up words New World flavored? What New World population uses this dialect? Please tell me in the comments below if you know. Zarahemla is located in the northwest on the Sidon River between Gideon in the south and the narrow neck of lands in the north. This takes a comprehensive scriptural approach to the lands in the Book of Mormon, places the land of Zarahemla in western New York State in between Syracuse and Lake Erie. And I don't think this would have been canon to Joseph Smith, but maybe it was when he was writing this. I think he intended to build it on the notion of a lost civilization out west, though, just because that was popular at the time. Joseph Smith wasn't coming up with this stuff whole cloth. There were Old West newspaper reports of different writers making up stories about finding lost cities out west and finding ancient civilizations and ruins of Meccas and stuff like that. It was Jumanji. Yeah, it's essentially that. It's what colonizers call mumbo jumbo, which is to say just phonetically made up to sound like a indigenous population's dialect. It's funny because the people of Babylon, right? They got that done with their language too. They called it, that's where we get you're babbling. When you just make up gibberish, you're just babbling. You're speaking the language of Babel. I guess that probably comes from the fall of the Tower of Babel more so than their actual language, though, that you're defecting from the root language group it's funny. Yeah. It's Skyrim. Yeah, that's kind of the feel it gets, right? It's like they're making up video game worlds, and this is just how they did it back then. Now you can go in Minecraft and build your fictional utopian city. Yeah, or you can explore Skyrim or anything like that. So, is there an ancient Mormon metropolis buried beneath the soil of southeastern Iowa? It's hard to prove a negative, so perhaps. But press X to doubt. Actually, I think I have that on here somewhere. Yeah, I do. Boop. There you go. Press X to doubt. Yeah. That's how the Hive do. And however, for Mormon place finders in the Americas, exhilaration followed by disappointment has been about as constant as it is for looking for the Philosopher's Stone. But still they go on, because if they can prove the existence of Zarahemla, the Book of Mormon itself will have been proven true. What motivates the diggers for the truth that may not be there? Faith. Or to translate, that in more scientific terms, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Oh, yeah, but there's evidence of other people living there, though, right? Of the other people living in the region at the time. It's not like you can't go to these areas and like you can go down to the river bottoms in any creek in Iowa and look around. You'll find the remains of the people that lived there and what their culture was like. They did those creek beds is where they would set down there and nape their tools, and you'll find waste deposits of broken, ruined. Because they do it. It was an industry that somebody'd sit down there and just spend hours and hours just naping arrowheads and arrowheads and arrowheads, and all the chips and stuff just end up there on the among the rocks, and you can go find them, and it's really cool. And it'll include like whole arrowheads too, ones that just got left behind or weren't quite right, things like that. It's pretty cool. Anyway, this is the Heartland Research Group that they're talking about, not accepting volunteers for clinical research trials. Is this really the... Is this the same one? I think this must be something different. Here we go. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, this is Heartland Research Group right here, talking about finding Zera Hemwet and Phoenicians together in Lee County, Iowa. In the last year, we worked more than 3,000 hours on the restoration of the Phoenician ship replica. In the coming years, we intend to put at least 6,000 hours onto the project. So they're rebuilding this ship, right, in Montrose. The Mormons are. The Phoenician ship being built. Yeah, they're building the old-timey way that they built it, because they want to prove that you can get from here to the ancient from here with the ancient technology. Yeah, I don't know how that's going so far. This was August 2022, so it's not been that long ago. Looks like they got most of the hull done, but I don't know if they actually plan to take this down the Mississippi, through the Gulf of Mexico, across the Atlantic, into the Mediterranean, and then on into what would have been the Phoenician coast, on the far end of that sea. Yeah, if they're planning on doing that, I'd like to actually chronicle that or watch that chronicle, but I don't know when it's going to happen, because this doesn't look like it's coming along super fast, which is too bad. The replica ship is 65 feet long and was constructed at Ardwold Island, the site of an ancient Phoenician city-state just off the coast of Syria, by a Syrian shipwright named Khalid Hamoud, using traditional methods. So they're trying to replicate the ship that this dude built and build their own to prove that people from the Near East would be able to make it to the Midwest. Anyway, that has been Creation Watch for today. What did you guys think? The Book of Mormon, right? What a hoot that is. Ancient cities in North America? I don't think so. Not ancient cities of Eastern peoples anyway. Yeah, we have the biggest city in North America at the time of its discovery was Cahokia, and that's down by St. Louis. the middle of all this trade center. There's huge mounds down there. You can go see it. You can actually see it if you're crossing the river from St. Louis into Illinois. But I'd not recommend anybody just like go over to East St. Louis and just start driving around because there is some. The city has a bad reputation, so just be safe if you go down there. It is a dangerous city in this country. That's no joke, but there is a lot of history out there to explore. There are mounds, countless, throughout the Mississippi Valley, from Minnesota down to Louisiana. Mounds, and these mounds also extend. On the west coast, they generally stay within, or on the west coast, on the west banks, of the Mississippi, they generally stay within that 100 miles or so of the river, except for when you get further south and into the Ozarks, then it gets kind of mixed with a different culture of people down there that had different technologies that they were working with. But you go back to the east, though, and this culture extended all the way into the Great Lakes region and to Appalachia. I know some people don't like the way I say Appalachia, but that's how I learned how to say it in Missouri. So anyway, that is going to finish out Creation Watch for you. So if you're tuning in Wednesday night, thank you so much for sticking in there with me. And I appreciate you. Please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time. All right. So for everybody sticking around for Live from the Hive, the final segment, just the exciting topic that we have in store for you. It's just around the corner. We are doing some eco news. So I'll see you guys over there.
On this episode of God Made What? Now, normally I like to talk about cephalopods, but this time we're going to talk about a different type of mollusk. This is the Limix maximus, otherwise known as the giant leopard slug. And it deserves that name. I mean, look at the size of this thing. Now, despite its size, it still falls short in compared to the great black slug. And I wanted to bring up these creatures because they're not only hermaphrodites, but also because of their mating ritual. So what they do is climb themselves up into a high point, play a little bondage by hanging from a slime rope, and they not only intertwine themselves, but they also intertwine their little dinghies, located behind their head of all places. And look, when they climax, they form this flower thing to exchange sperm. And once they're really done, all the one does is just plop themselves to the ground while the other one climbs back up the rope. So for anybody that still thinks that in nature, sex happens between a male and a female organism, here's these guys.
All right, welcome to Eco News on Live from the Hive. Thank you so much for sticking around for the final segment. Well, CryptoCorner seems to be my most popular segment, and I am part of a atheist community that loves to dunk on creation in general, which is why CreationWatch is so much fun for me and for my audience. I also like to do a little bit of activism on my show, and the main thing I do is bring to light things that are happening in the ecological sphere. So, before I get into this topic, I'm looking at the side chat. I don't know how many of you have pets or have had pets, reptiles or spiders, anything that eats insects as a food source, whether that's a chameleon. I know that like hedgehogs will eat mealworms, and there are birds that eat mealworms and things like that. So have you ever had a pet that eats mealworms? That's what I'm asking. Do you know what a darkling beetle is? If so, you're going to find this article very enticing. So, superworms capable of munching through plastic waste. So superworms are the big ones. Superworms are the ones that get about. I don't have any superworms right now. I don't even know if I have any mealworms in here. I just bought some, but I need to get my farm back going. I had a mealworm farm, and I still have the stuff to do it. Is anybody left, or is it just molts in here? Nope, I think that we're tapped out on the mealworms. But I was going to show you one. Regardless, they're darkling beetles are just little black beetles, pretty basic. They're really cool desert beetles in my opinion. I have my blue death feeding beetle that I sometimes, if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram or anything, you can probably see me clip little videos and stuff of it. But keep bumping that wire again, Sandy. I'm so sorry. It's dangling there and annoying me too. But yeah, they're not worms per se. They're grubs. It's called superworms. It's just a marketing name. Mealworms is what they also call them. Superworms are the really big ones. They're a specific species. Anyhow, so, and by the way, I'm more than happy to get my mealworm colonies back going as soon as possible. So hopefully that happens here. Doesn't take much. I have all the pieces to it. I've just been, I don't know, I've been putting it off, and I just need to do it. Anyway, so but the superworms were always like a big juicy treat for my spiders, right? Generally, I feed them either roaches or crickets. That's their main diet for the spiders. For the mantises, it was either flies, fruit flies, depending on the size, and baby roaches. But for each of them, when they needed a special treat, I'd give them superworms. But superworms have a superpower that I was not aware of. This came out in June. I don't know how I missed so much of it. A species of worm with an appetite for polystyrene could be the key to plastic recycling on a massive scale. It's weird that they're calling it a species of worm when it's a species of beetle, not a species of worm. Researchers at the University of Queensland, and again, this is pop science, I don't know. It's not pop science, this is from the University of Queensland. Stop calling it a worm, University of Queensland. It's a beetle. Researchers at the University of Queensland have discovered a common Zophobus morio superworm can't eat through polystyrene thanks to a bacterial enzyme in their gut. And his team from UQ's School of Chemistry and Molecular Bioscience fed superworms different diets on a 3-week period, with some given polystyrene foam, some bran, and others put on a fasting diet. We found that the superworms fed on a diet of just polystyrene not only survived, but even had marginal weight gain, Dr. Rink said. This suggests the worms can derive energy from polystyrene, most likely with the help of their gut microbes. The researchers used a technique called metagenomics to find several encoded enzymes with the ability to degrade polystyrene and styrene. The long-term goal is to energize enzymes to degrade plastic waste in recycling plants through mechanical shredding, followed by enzymatic, I guess is how we say that. I almost want to say enzymatic, but I think it'd be enzymatic biodegradation. I don't know. That's a word I've never said out loud, ever. Superworms are like mini recycling plants, shredding the polystyrene with their mouths and then feeding it to their bacteria in their gut, Dr. Rink said. The breakdown products from this reaction can then be used by other microbes to create high-value compounds such as bioplastics, in hopes that this bio-upcycling will incentivize plastic waste recycling to reduce landfills. Co-author of the research, PhD candidate Jairui Sun, Dr. Sun, we're just going to go with Dr. Sun from here, said that they aim to grow the gut bacteria in their lab and further test its ability to degrade polystyrene. We can then look into how we can upscale this process to a level required for an entire recycling plant, Ms. Sun said. Dr. Rink said there are many opportunities for the biodegradation of plastic waste. Our team is very excited to push the science to make it happen, he said. This research has been published in Microbial Genomics. So tell me that's not awesome, right? These common and buy in bulk pet shop animals. Beetles. University of Queensland, please. Beetles. They're beetles. I appreciate the work you're doing, but they're beetles. Let's give beetles the credit, because beetles have been around a long time doing a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. You can find beetles here in Illinois in the same formation you can find the Tully monster in. If you know what the Tully monster is, it's like an alien half vertebrate, half invertebrate kind of weird thing. So even way back when that was going on, the invertebrates had already filled that beetle niche with beetles that look very much like the ones today and reproduce and pupate the same way as well. So grubs have been evolving to decompose a lot of stuff. That's why when you dig through a compost heap, you'll find a lot of beetle larvae, because they're decomposers. Yes. You can get these at your local pet shop, Godseed. You can buy them in bulk. You can order them online from Josh's Frogs in bulk. So yeah, you can check that out. But yes, that was my HiveScience for today. Yeah, we actually almost made it within the 2 hours. We never quite do. I don't know. 11:30 is not necessarily my goal to end the show at. I always give it until noon, but I do like to. There's stuff I do that I want to get done after the show before noon. So we'll just keep it going like this, though. I like it runs from 9:30 to somewhere between 11:30 and noon every Saturday at those are Central Standard Times, by the way. Texas time for you Texans down there. I know I usually try to announce it on both Facebook and Twitter each week. I don't always remember to. I don't always get a chance to. Sometimes I don't get a chance. I don't remember to update my Today in Science crawler up there at the top. I didn't even have it going on this screen. But anyway, thank you for joining us today for Live from the Hive. Had a pretty steady viewers, about 18 viewers. It's not doing too bad. We are still approaching the 1K subscriber. We seem to have stopped at 959, which is making me sad. We need we need 41 more subscribers. So let's see if I can do that. Bug drive is tomorrow. And there'll be more announcements of that coming up soon. So I'm not asking for a lot. I'll talk about shopping for bugs too on the stream, but please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time. Bumblebee out. No, I'm not gonna make Bumblebee out my outro. No, be kind and take care is my outro.